good morning. Welcome to the Sober Soiree. This event is going to be so much fun, and I'm just so happy that you are here today with me. And you know what? Just to let people trickle in a little bit right now, I'm going to play some wake me up music, get my energy up, get your energy up, so we can have the best time possible. Because one of my favorite mentors out there on this planet always says that when you change your state, you change the state of your brain. And so when you pump up your body, when you have physical energy coursing through your body, you can think better, you can act better, and you can be way more enthusiastic about things in your life. So let's get this party started. Welcome to the Sober Soiree. Let's get our energy up. It's a party. Baby, let the good times roll. Come on, baby, let the good times roll. Alright, I'm so excited to welcome you. It's October 1st, which means it's the first day of Sober October. And if you're here because you're interested in doing Sober October yourself, you are in the best place possible. Because we are going to have a fun workshop to teach you everything you need to know to have the best month ever. So I'm going to turn my music down now and introduce myself a little bit. But maybe you've been here before. Maybe you have tried a break from alcohol, or you've wanted to drink less for a long time now. You know, it's so interesting, but over the pandemic, drinking skyrocketed, right? So many people picked up in drinking, alcohol sales went up, and so it's not really that uncommon to be in a place where you're kind of feeling sick of it, tired, sick of it. Maybe you've tried drinking less before in the past or taking a break from alcohol, but I really want to share some secrets with you today that will make the process not only easier, but fun, and help you discover what you really want more, and then get yourself the passion and energy to go after that. And I'm so excited for today's workshop because we are getting sponsored by Curious Elixirs today. They have some incredible drinks. Cheers to them. And I'm going to be sharing a coupon code for their drinks that you can get towards the end of the event. So make sure you stick around because we'll be sharing that coupon code with you so that you can enjoy their beautiful beverages and try them out and start really exploring these new alcohol-free drinks and all the options that are out there. Curious Elixirs are high-end, gorgeous, beautiful drinks, so you will never feel like you're missing alcohol when you're drinking those drinks. So be sure to stay towards the end where I'll share their coupon code with you and you can try them yourself. So my goal really for this workshop is to teach you how to take an amazing month off. Not a month where you're drowning in deprivation, not a month where you're feeling like a social outcast, not a month where you're feeling just like you can't relax and unwind. You're really getting new tools and a new sense of passion and excitement about what a break from alcohol can do for you. And I want to teach you some of the mindset secrets that you need to know to have this amazing month, right? Because raise your hand if you've taken a break from alcohol before. I had done it a few times in my life, and when I did it the wrong way, I was drowning in that deprivation. I felt so left out. I was just, it was like I was taking away my favorite treat, and I couldn't figure out how to make it happy. And so my whole thing about taking a break from alcohol and being alcohol-free is that it's euphoric. But it's only euphoric when you do it the right way, right? So I'm going to teach you some of the secrets you need to know to have the best month ever. And I'm so excited to welcome you all. Patty, it's great to see you today. Mary, it's so good to see you. Feel free to leave comments in the chat, and we'll also have questions at the end, so I'll be answering your questions. You know, if we haven't met yet before, my name is Karolina Jodkowalska, and I am an author and an alcohol-free life coach. And it wasn't that long ago that I was in your shoes. You know, I like to say that I partied really hard in college and grad school, right? I had no boundaries around alcohol. But the older I got, the more I got along into my 20s, I started to settle down, right? I reserved my drinking for the weekends. I, tried to have these responsible drinking events like wine tasting and brewery visits and sushi night, right? I wasn't going out to the bars until 2 a.m. anymore. And I really started to just feel like, if I can only just compartmentalize alcohol in my life, it won't be a problem. And so this is when I stepped into what I call the moderation illusion. I tried so hard to moderate. I tried so hard to drink less. I tried so hard to keep alcohol as small as possible in my life. But no matter what I tried, every Monday morning I felt like crap. Every Monday morning I woke up depressed, exhausted, tired, ashamed, let down, and like I was 10 steps backwards from where I left off. And the funny thing is that during the week I was a pretty healthy person. I worked out, I did yoga, I drank my green juices, I ate my vegetables, but then every single weekend I drank and completely nullified those healthy effects, right? I felt like I was 10 steps backward. And it wasn't until I took a life-changing break from alcohol myself that finally everything clicked into place. Now, when I took a life-changing break from alcohol, I had done it before, and it would sometimes just leave me in a habit. Let's say, when you just change the habit, sometimes you're just left with a vacuum because you just removed the habit, right? And so this time when I took a break from alcohol, I decided I need to work on this mindset here. I need to work on the thoughts and the beliefs that I've come to absorb that I need alcohol. Like, where did that come from? When did I learn that? When did I absorb that? And I had to be ruthless about debunking that. And I'm going to share a little bit about the 3 secrets you need this Sober October to start working on your mindset and getting into that euphoric feeling, right? I love how Mary says it, when we say yes to alcohol, we say no to other more productive things, right? Or on the other opposite side of that, when we say no to alcohol, we're actually saying yes to so many more amazing things in our life. So I take my break from alcohol, I completely work on my mindset, I change it with these secrets that I'm going to be sharing with you, and I am like ecstatic. I am on the happiest I've ever been in my life. I feel so giddy. I'm starting to fall in love with things again. I have so much energy. My sleep is so much better. I am so just excited every single day. I can feel my appreciation going up, my gratitude going up. I feel so much healthier. My blood cholesterol drops by 51 points. My blood pressure drops by 10 points. I lose weight. I am just feeling amazing. And all of that confidence, all of that happiness starts stacking up. And I start spilling over into other areas of my life. And I start challenging these other beliefs that I had that I thought were just limits on my life. Like, I could never be an entrepreneur, or I could never write a book, or, all these stories that I was telling myself previously. Honestly, I was stuck in a middle management job in a 9-to-5, and that's what I thought my life was all going to be about. I didn't think I would be able to do anything that much bigger than that. And so my break from alcohol literally catalyzed me to launch a business, to write a book, to launch a podcast, to leave my 9-to-5, to speak publicly on stages about how amazing alcohol-free life is. In fact, I've now been featured in the Huffington Post, in Elite Daily, in Pop Sugar, in Refinery 29, and in Greatest, because of how much new energy I think we're putting into this alcohol-free movement, and a different story than the old one, right? And that's one of the secrets I want to share with you today. So my story isn't just my story. Like, I have now worked with hundreds of clients through my signature program and my coaching. And through these hundreds of clients I've worked with, it's not just me that takes a break from alcohol and rediscovers her dreams and then goes after him and has all this massive success. My clients have done the same thing. I have clients who have written books themselves. I have clients who've launched businesses. I have clients who've become alcohol-free life coaches themselves. I have clients who are moving to Europe. I have clients who windsurf in the locations all around the world, who've rediscovered their passions, rediscovered their purpose, rediscovered what really lights them up. Because a drink at the end of the day just doesn't cut it. If you really think about it, we have so much more passion to express in our lifetime, right? And so it's not just my story that I want to share with you today, but some of the client wins that have been happening over the last few years that I've been running this business that really show when you get the right framework, when you get the right process, you can really be euphoric and you can have an amazing experience that not only feels good, but actually helps you rediscover your passions and gives you a new sense of purpose. So the 3 secrets I really want to share with you today are these kind of mindset tools that you can use to reframe and reprogram your brain. So our brain is one of the most interesting pieces of hardware we have. Did you know we think over 60,000 thoughts a day? 60,000 thoughts a day. And guess what? 95% of those thoughts are repeat thoughts from the day before, and 80% of our thoughts are negative. So let that sink in for a moment. 95% of all of our thoughts are the same thoughts we had the day before, and 80% of all of them are negative. Basically, what that tells me is we have negative thoughts running on autopilot all the time in our brain, and we don't even know it. We don't even recognize it, right? We can't even recognize that this is the same thought I had yesterday, and it's all negative, and it's all running on autopilot, right? Our brain functions like that, and it takes this very mindful process that I'm going to teach you today on how to consciously be aware to what you're thinking and ask yourself, is this serving me? Is this helping me? And really start reframing the journey. So, I have this story where I was this weekend drinker. I was someone who overdrank for sure, but definitely wasn't problem drinking, right? I wasn't drinking in the morning. I wasn't drinking every day. It wasn't something that I had heard of in movies about alcoholism. And that's actually something that kept me really stuck. In fact, I think it's actually really strange in our society that the only time we talk about problems with alcohol is we're talking about AA, we're talking about alcoholism, we're talking about rock bottom, we're talking about heavy, severe drinking. And now there are so many resources out there for that. There's rehabs, there's AA, there's all these programs. But what about everybody else in the middle? What about everyone else who has typical drinking issues but don't relate back to this heavy drinking area? What about everyone who finds themselves in that murky middle? And that's what I found so interesting is nobody's talking about that. Here's the thing, and this is what the big secret I want to tell you for secret number 1 in the framework. So the 3 secrets you're going to know is that most people want this. Most people want to actually take a break from alcohol. And I'm going to share with you why that actually is going to change your mindset about taking a break. Secret number 2 is I'm going to teach you how to turn deprivation into excitement. And secret number 3 is how to act like a vegetarian when you're out socializing so that you don't feel deprived or like an outcast. So the first secret really tends down to this murky middle that we all live in. And I want to share with you that, most people don't drink alcoholically. When we actually look at the statistics and consumption levels, most people don't drink like Nicolas Cage in Leaving Las Vegas, right? And what I mean by that is kind of, like the stereotype, like drinking a handle of vodka in one sitting, right? Like this really, really extreme kind of drinking. Most people don't drink like that. But you know how most people drink? Most people do drink unhealthily. Most people do drink above the health guidelines. In fact, I want to tell you that after doing so much research that I've done for my new book, I've learned so much about the consumption levels of Americans. And most people, 60% of drinkers actually drink way above the health guidelines. And now I want to tell you that because most of us feel like if we come here, if we think about taking a break from alcohol, if we want to, change our habits, then there must be something wrong with us, right? We must have a problem. In fact, we don't talk about alcohol in our society unless someone has a problem. And so what does that leave you with? I wanted to take a break from alcohol for years, but I didn't because I didn't want to be labeled with a problem. And so here's the secret that you need to know. Most people drink unhealthily and most people actually want to take a break or drink less. Let that sink in. Most people drink unhealthily and most people want to take a break or drink less. Actually, 52% of all Americans, regardless of their drinking levels or even if they do drink, want to drink less or not at all, right? And those are the ones that admitted it on a survey. So I want this to really sink in. Now, I'm not talking about every person on the planet. I'm not talking about 100% of people. I'm talking about the majority of people. I'm talking specifically the majority of drinkers. That it's more predominant that a drinker you meet subconsciously actually wants to drink less or not at all than feeling completely fine with their relationship with alcohol. And why is that my big secret to tell with you? Because first of all, when you take a break from alcohol, you feel like you're depriving yourself. You feel like you're going to miss out. You feel like, I just can't have this treat and everyone else can have the treat and everyone else is drinking around me. But when you really let it sink in that most people actually want to take a break from alcohol, it starts to remind you that, hey, this drinking thing, this ability to drink wine at the end of the day, it's actually not as appealing as I thought. Most people actually wish they didn't do it. Isn't that crazy? Most people wish they didn't do it. Now, what you need to get from that is that you're here. Most people aren't here. You're here, right? You decided to show up for this. You decided to show up for yourself. You decided to engage in the Sober Soiree and do Sober October and have the best month ever and start really learning and growing on your journey. Most people aren't here, right? Most people will continue to shove this under a rug. Most people will not allow their subconscious feelings to rise up to their conscious level of thought. Most people won't even journal about this. Either they're embarrassed or they just don't want to think about it. And so what that tells me is that you are here because you are one of the most brave, most intuitive people on the planet. Does that make sense? Everybody wants this, but only the most brave and intuitive people will admit it to themselves and actually take action on it, right? You are the most brave, intuitive people on the planet. And when you start to realize that everybody wants this, most people want this, but only you are actually taking the action to go for it, Well, that leaves you with a lot of pride, doesn't it? That leaves you with feeling like a lot of confidence. That's kind of like something like a feat to do, you know? This isn't something that's embarrassing. This is like running a half marathon. Most people want to run a half marathon, right? It sounds pretty appealing. It's like, oh, that'd be such a cool like feat to do one day. I'd be so proud of myself. Yet most people don't run a half marathon. And so by doing the Sober October, by taking a break from alcohol, by going alcohol free, you're doing that like really cool, esteemed feat that most people secretly want. And I think that's one of the coolest mindset shifts that you can have when you realize this isn't embarrassing. This isn't due to you having a problem. Because guess what? Most people overdrink. Most people drink unhealthily. You know this, the health guidelines for drinking are really strict. We're not supposed to have more than one drink per occasion. And the drink levels that they say in the medical societies are way lower than the drinks we're getting served, right? So when they say 1 glass of wine, they actually mean like a little baby glass of 12% wine. I have not seen 12% wine ever, right? I have never seen a 12% wine. What are they talking about, right? We are getting poured 6 ounces at a restaurant of like 15, 16% wine. We are all over drinking. None of us are following the health guidelines whatsoever, right? And so you have to understand that most people are over drinking. Most people drink unhealthily, and most people want to drink less or not at all. So when you actually step up to the plate, when you step up to do something like Sober October, to join the Sober Soiree, to really look at your relationship with alcohol, you're doing one of the most bravest things that you can do, and you're doing something that people will envy you for, okay? So really let that sink in. And now I want to share with you secret number 2 for how to have an amazing break from alcohol. So I want to teach you the trick to really turn deprivation into excitement, right? Because there's so many benefits that are going to come from taking a break from alcohol. And when you actually understand that the benefits are coming and some of the things that you're going to experience, you get to get really excited and look out for them. And then you get to be really grateful when they happen to you, right? And not only that, but you can actually use this as a tool to discover, well, what really makes me happy? I mean, think about it. Think about what deprivation really means. Deprivation means that we feel sad that we don't get to have something we think is a treat, right? And we think that alcohol is a treat, and we think that it makes us fun, and we think that it makes a good time, or that it helps us unwind. But what if it didn't actually do any of those things? What if it did the opposite of some of those things to our body and brain? And what if we, because we always think of alcohol as a treat, we miss out on some of the most beautiful treats of life? Now think about it this way. All of the pining that we have for alcohol, all of the conditioning, we've all been literally groomed to drink. I mean, think about it. I started drinking pretty regularly when I was 17 years old. I first tried alcohol when I was a lot younger than that, right? So isn't it kind of weird we grow up in a society where alcohol is pushed on us since we're teenagers? Right? That's massive conditioning. And we grow up in a society that venerates it, and then it's included in every event. It's crazy. We are all really conditioned to drink alcohol. But when you recognize that even though your brain has been taught to think alcohol is a treat, what it's doing is it's robbing you of the opportunity to discover what really makes you happy, what really brings you joy, you know? I mean, I thought the highlight of my week was a bottle of wine at the end of a long, hard week of working my 9 to 5. You know what the highlight of my week now is? Traveling to places like Tulum, getting on to be able to hang out with you live, getting to write a book, getting to be featured in articles, getting to help other women. I mean, the things that fulfill me now today, alcohol pales in comparison, because I'm actually fulfilling myself. I'm actually going for my bigger dreams. I'm finding the things that light me up. You know, watching a sunset at the end of the day, going stargazing, doing these beautiful things that really light me up are so much better than the high that is such a false high that only lasts 20 minutes from alcohol and then goes downhill really fast. So the second secret I want to teach you today is how to turn deprivation into excitement. And you do that by really understanding all of the benefits that are coming for you for alcohol. So I wrote a book, and I'm going to share a little bit more about that later today, but I literally had to research so much about what happens to the human body when you take a break from alcohol. And it was really, really heartening to see. It was super, super, super exciting, because our bodies and our brains and then our mental states change so fundamentally when we take a break from alcohol. So first of all, here are some health benefits that happen. I don't know if you know this, but alcohol is implied and does different things to your body, from your brain, your heart system, your liver system, the cancer markers in your body, your cardiovascular system, it really, really affects your whole body, right? And I feel like sometimes I didn't even know this kind of stuff. I didn't really know how common this was. Did you know just one glass of wine reduces your REM sleep every night? REM sleep is the kind of sleep your brain needs to feel nourished. So even if you're clocking in 8 hours, but you had just one glass of wine that day, you're not going to get the REM sleep that you need, right? No wonder we wake up feeling so exhausted and sluggish after drinking. It actually reduces all the healthy sleep that we need, the quality sleep that we need. So the first thing that can happen when you take a break from alcohol is you finally start to get the sleep you need. Your brain and your circadian rhythms rebalance. It could take a while, let me give you that. But it finally rebalances and you start really getting into the yummiest sleep of your life. And when you start getting in the yummiest sleep of your life and your body is not working overtime to have to detoxify alcohol, you know, alcohol is ethanol. And ethanol is the same compound that you find in your gas tank. It's the same compound you find in rocket fuel. It's the same compound you find in paint thinner. Okay, we don't drink a different type of alcohol. It's the same alcohol, and our body has to detox that shit, right? It's not good for our body. It's kind of like a poison. Our body treats it that way, and it takes a huge toll on our body to detox it. So when you remove alcohol from your life, not only does your sleep improve, but you get this new sense of energy. It could take a few weeks to rebalance after having a pretty regular drinking habit, but soon you're going to step into this feeling of oh my God, I'm alive, I feel so good in the morning, I have so much energy, right? And it starts to really work on you. You really start to feel so much healthier and so much better. And a really cool thing too to learn as well is that when you take a break from alcohol, your insides are healing as well. So did you know that blood pressure rises after every drink that we have, and this affects our blood pressure over time? I've actually worked with clients who have not only lowered their blood pressure, they were able to get off lifelong medication, right? And so personally, my blood pressure went down by 10 points, both off of both numbers, okay? And that's crazy to me. Just taking a break from alcohol can actually get you off blood pressure medication. But not only that, we often don't understand there's a correlation between alcohol and cholesterol. Did you know around 40 to 50% of all Americans have levels above 200 or are worried about their cholesterol? And there's so many diets and there's so many exercise plans and there's so much medication out there to try to help people lower their cholesterol. Guess what? A break from alcohol as little as 4 to 5 weeks has been proven to lower cholesterol levels by 20 points. Now that's just an average that scientists did after doing some studies, but let me tell you my story. So I had high cholesterol almost my entire adult life, and it completely astounded me. I had no idea why. I mean, look at me. I'm not this overly obese person. I just didn't understand why I had such high blood pressure. High cholesterol. And I tried different diets, and I tried different exercise plans, and nothing really worked. And I finally took this break from alcohol, and I tested my cholesterol a few months later. It dropped 51 points. 51 points, okay? If someone would have told me a long time ago that taking a break from alcohol can reduce my cholesterol, I would have tried it a long time ago. So I went from 220, and that was kind of a low for me. I had been tested higher at 240 even before. I went from 220 down to 167. They say that people who have cholesterol at around 160, 150, they don't have heart disease. I can't believe that I could reduce my risk for heart disease so effectively just by taking a break from alcohol. Don't you wish this was more common knowledge? And so not only does the physical benefits happen, but you start to actually heal the organs inside. So liver fat also goes down by 20% by taking a month-long break from alcohol. And then, get this, our cancer markers in our body reduce. So we have cancer markers that scientists are able to test through different blood work, and our cancer markers actually go down from a break from alcohol. And on top of that, things are happening in the brain. So they have found that just drinking 1 to 7 drinks a week actually shrinks a person's brain. So one of my favorite doctors, Dr. Daniel Ammon, has found that drinkers, even just 1 to 7 drinks a week, which, hello, if you would have told me to drink 1 to 7 drinks a week, if I did that, I would have thought I was the healthiest person ever. But even people who drink 1 to 7 drinks a week have smaller brains than non-drinkers. But while that kind of sounds depressing, only 2 weeks off alcohol has actually proven to grow your gray matter in your brain. And then by 6 months to a year of alcohol-free, you actually regrow your brain back to the levels it was before you started drinking. And now here's the crazy thing. After a year, your brain grows even more. So you actually grow more neurons, more neural pathways, more gray matter than someone who never struggled with this at all. basically means that you get more adept at self-control and resilience than someone who never dealt with this at all. How freaking cool is that? So first of all, we have all these crazy health benefits that happen. Your sleep improves, your energy improves, all of your insides are healing, your cholesterol improves, your blood pressure improves, the gray matter grows in your brain, your heart also gets healthier. It's a huge myth that alcohol is good for your heart. Those studies have been completely debunked. It is now proven that any amount of alcohol is not safe for our body, and it actually makes your heart beat faster. And then because there's no physical exertion attached to that, it makes it sag over time and actually makes it less efficient at pumping blood. So it actually leads to cardiovascular disease. It does not prevent it, right? And because it makes cholesterol go up and blood pressure go up, I mean, of course, these are the things that lead to heart disease over time. And so just by taking a break from alcohol, you could lower all of these risk factors, you could lower these numbers, and you could grow your gray matter in your brain. I mean, it's so incredible to learn all the amazing effects of taking a break from alcohol. Now, that's kind of the health stuff, right? Not only do you feel better, you start to have this energy, you start to crave healthier foods, you start to be more motivated to work out. You have this upward spiral of well-being, right? Because every day you wake up feeling like it. Every day you wake up more motivated. Every day you have that energy. You know, you're not like not today. You know, it's just not happening as often. You really feel like keeping up with the things you want to do in your life. And it starts to spill over to your mind as well. Because when I was a drinker, I always let myself down. I would have some strict rules for myself. I would have these intentions. I would say, I'm only drinking one drink tonight, or I'm not drinking tonight, or whatever it was. And I, 9 times out of 10, broke those rules and broke those intentions. And what that ended up happening is that whatever I said, I knew I couldn't trust myself. I knew that whatever rule I made for myself, oh, I'm only going to drink one at this party, I couldn't trust that. I couldn't trust that. I would wake up the next day and be like, what the fuck happened there? Right? Like, I had way more than one drink. And I felt so depressed and so let down, and like my self-esteem was crumbling, and I had such low self-worth. I just couldn't trust myself. I had no self-love for myself. I had no integrity either, you know? I mean, on any given night that I drank, I had a 50% chance of brushing my teeth. Let that sink in for a second. I was a 30-year-old grown-ass adult who had a 50% chance of brushing her teeth that night. Who wants to be that person? Because I didn't, right? Those things just crumbled my self-esteem. And when you take a break from alcohol, not only do you start showing up for yourself every single day, you start doing the things the day before that will make the future version of you feel loved, right? When the version of you the day before doesn't drink, the next day you wake up feeling amazing. Not only do you feel amazing, but you're grateful to yesterday you for not drinking. You're like, thank you. Oh my gosh, this feels so much better than waking up with a hangover. This feels so much better than waking up with a headache or rough sleep. Take this break from alcohol, if I could go 3 weeks without alcohol, if I could go, 20 days, 30 days without alcohol, what else could I do? And I started to actually test that theory in my life, and I started to really go after new things. And now these are kind of the ways that your mind redevelops more self-esteem and self-love and confidence in your life. But it doesn't just stop with your mind, it also grows your soul, right? Your sense of gratitude and connection goes up so much. Your sense of appreciation and wonder. I mean, they say that taking away alcohol is like taking off these goggles, and all of a sudden you can see the world in HD. It's like you're alive again. It's like you're awake to something you've never seen before. Alcohol messes with your neurochemicals so much that when you remove alcohol, you finally can see the world through these technicolor like glasses, right? And let me tell you a little bit of those neurochemicals. Alcohol actually induces the release of cortisol, adrenaline, and dynorphin. So alcohol is a depressant, but because our body's really good at counteracting all these different things that are entered into our body, we actually release these stress hormones in our body to try to bring us back up after this depressant is in our system. So we really release cortisol, adrenaline, and this thing called dynorphin, which is kind of like the opposite of endorphins. It makes people feel low and sad. And they've actually found that people who commit suicides have high levels of this dynorphin coursing through their brain. And so drinking actually makes us feel more anxious, not relaxed. It releases all this stress hormones in our body, and these stress hormones don't just last a few hours after drinking, they actually last a few days, if not even weeks. And the longer you're a drinker, not the more you drink, the longer you're a drinker, meaning the more years you continue to drink alcohol, the longer and more prevalent these stress hormones get in your body. So what that tells me is that most drinkers are actually on this kind of an edge, this kind of low feeling all the time. In addition to that, we now have to kind of like understand how alcohol works on the brain too, right? Alcohol will release this high level of dopamine in the brain. But this high level of dopamine is really similar to what it does when you take cocaine or you shoot up heroin. It's this artificial high, right? It's not like what your brain is ever used to getting from normal activities. So you have this artificial high, and then the brain crashes after that. It goes into this really low low that's lower than when you started. And so the low low is a reason why we always want to reach for another drink. Like we want to get the up again, right? It's not you that's like fails at self-control. It is literally the effect of alcohol in the brain. And so this high level of dopamine, what it essentially does to your brain over time is it actually desensitizes you to naturally occurring dopamine in your life. It actually scientifically retracts receptors for dopamine in your brain. So all of the things that are supposed to make you happy in the world, like a nice ice cream on a hot day, or walking around in the woods, or playing with a child, or having like a belly laugh with your friends, none of those things start to register as high in your brain anymore. So alcohol actually makes it impossible to really experience the pleasures of life. A drinker is this low all the time, and then when they drink, they get this high, and then they crash, right? Whereas when you take a break from alcohol, your neurochemicals rebalance, and not only does your dopamine go back up, your receptivity to it, but you also get higher levels of serotonin and GABA. So drinking also lowers our levels of serotonin and GABA, right? Drinking literally makes us feel more sad, apathetic, and just frustrated, malaise, and you every day. You rebalance your brain when you take a break from alcohol, and all of a sudden your natural levels start to go up, right? A drinker's down here, and then they drink, and they have this up, and then they crash. A non-drinker is elevated with their mental state is much higher to begin with all the time. Sure, there might be ups and downs there, but it's so much of a better natural state. And so when you start to, that really happens for you, it can take a few weeks, it can take up to 4 to 6 weeks. You start to feel these surge of positive feelings that you didn't even know you had. I mean, that's why I call my company and my book Euphoric, because it's literally how you feel. You feel euphoric when those neurochemicals rebalance. And so I just wanted to share with you, not only do you get the physical benefits, not only do you redevelop these beautiful positive beliefs about yourself, you also get this hunger to decide, well, what really makes me happy? For so long, I've been drinking on a Friday or Saturday night, but maybe it's time to explore new things. Maybe I can try new hobbies. Maybe I can try new passions. Maybe there's a spark inside of me that I didn't even know I had. And I've had clients do such amazing things when they rediscover a new sense of fun and joy. They've found new passions. I have clients who take up kickboxing and go to pottery classes and try aerial yoga and go paddle boarding and try all this fun new stuff like spin class or painting or drawing. And they really rediscover like these new things that light them up. It's actually exciting. I mean, imagine if someone told you you couldn't do a bad habit anymore, a bad habit that takes up a lot of your time in the evenings, you would have to figure out something new to do, wouldn't you? You would have to figure out a new sense of fun. And that's one of the coolest things about taking a break from alcohol, is it not only gives you a new hobby, it actually might give you a new passion, a new purpose, a new sense of meaning and fulfillment. Personally, I found my calling by taking a break from alcohol. I discovered I wanted to be a coach, I wanted to be an educator, I wanted to be an author, I wanted to share this secret with more people on the planet. And I actually quit my job to be able to do that. And now I'm doing this full-time successfully as an entrepreneur. And not only that, I get to travel anywhere I want to in the world. I was just in Hawaii the other month. I was in Orlando. The month before I was in Europe and Spain and Poland. The month before that I was in Mexico. Like, I'm living this dream lifestyle that I only couldn't even believe was possible for me because it all started with the break from alcohol. And so just imagine, what if even half of what I said came true to you? What if even half of what I told you just now is what lies in front of you when you take a break from alcohol the right way? Wouldn't that be so amazing? And so you can turn those feelings of deprivation around. You can turn those feelings of deprivation around by getting so excited about what's coming for you with the break from alcohol. And now I literally physically don't want you to feel deprived. And that's why I love alcohol-free drinks. This is Curious Elixirs number 2. It's this ginger pineapple sensation. I'll be giving you a coupon code at the end of the session, so be sure to wait until then. But you don't have to feel deprived. You know, when you signed up for this course, this masterclass, I shared with you my free ebook, The Ultimate Guide to Alcohol-Free Drinks. There are literally hundreds of drinks on the market nowadays that you can experiment with, that you can try. You can find your new favorite drink. You don't have to change the habit. You can still come home on a Friday night and have a drink. Just change the drink, right? And what's so cool, they've studied this, there's actually a placebo effect. When you drink a mocktail or you drink any other alcohol-free drink, it could be a non-alcoholic beer, non-alcoholic wine, but it could even be something super simple like a sparkling water or some coconut water or some kind of health tonic or elixir. Really, like, experiment with all of it. Experiment with everything. They actually have found that there's a placebo effect. So you can still feel a sense of a rush of a high. You can still feel like really like ecstatic and engaged and having fun with your mocktail as you would with a drink, but with no negative side effects. I mean, imagine if you got the same buzz. It's like eating your cake and having it too, right? And like you get to go out with your friends, you get to have drinks, you get to have fun, and you get to wake up at 6 a.m. and go on a run, right? You get to have the best of both worlds. And so alcohol-free drinks are just like a secret weapon you can use. A lot of them these days are really health conscious too. So a lot of them are really low in sugars. A lot of different alcohol-free drinks are low in calories. One of my favorite drinks has like 10 calories a can. I mean, it's nothing. It's negligible, right? So you can really find something that not only helps you with your health goals, but also makes you feel like you getting the best of both worlds. And so that is secret number 2. So secret number 1 is that most people want this, and to really understand that so that you feel empowered to take this break. Secret number 2 is turn your deprivation into excitement, because all of these benefits are going to come your way. They're all going to shower you, right? Like all of the incredible things I just said. And now secret number 3 I want to share with you is how to act when you're out socializing. So I'm a huge introvert. I grew up really shy when I was younger. And when I first started drinking, it was like, alcohol is like a magical elixir. It turns me into an extrovert, right? I can be more confident when I drink. And the thing is, I don't think you have to even be an introvert. Small talking, or you're talking with people you hardly know. Like, we have all learned to use alcohol when we socialize. In fact, it's the number one way we usually all get initiated into alcohol, and it has been locked in our brains since we were teenagers that socializing equals alcohol, right? That is something we've been conditioned to do. And it's everywhere in our society. You go out with friends on a dinner night, you go to sushi, you go to game night, you go to a Super Bowl party, you go to Thanksgiving. Everywhere it's alcohol, right? And so this is a huge part of taking a break from alcohol. How are you going to manage socializing? And now I do not want you to do Sober October and lock yourself up for 4 weeks and never leave the house. That sucks. That sounds horrible. I want you to learn how to socialize the right way. I want you to learn how to feel amazing when you socialize. And one of the key secrets that I can tell you, the third secret I'm going to share with you today, one of the best ways to learn how to socialize without drinking during that moment is to act like a vegetarian. So one, we feel awkward sometimes socializing when the alcohol goes out of the picture. One, because we're actually used to using it to get confident. And I want to share with you that, every time I drank to feel more confident when I was socializing, I was actually stripping away my own sense of confidence. Because think about it this way, there is nothing outside of you that is going to make you feel confident, right? It has to be found within. And every time I used a drink to try to feel more confident, it gave this message to my subconscious: you're not good enough on your own. You're not interesting enough. You're not likable. You're not charming. Nobody wants to talk to you. Not without alcohol flowing in your veins, right? That's the message I was telling my subconscious. And to tell you the truth, when I was drinking, it's an crying in shame. How does that have anything to do with confidence, right? We think alcohol makes us more confident, but the thing is, we have not learned to socialize sober. We have not practiced this muscle enough in our lives, and it is something that you can learn how to do. Trust me, it's like a muscle that never gets worked out, and when you start working it out, it might feel a little uncomfortable at first, but you are going to get better and better and better at it until you feel like you are comfortable in your own skin and you can socialize as the real you. In fact, it starts to feel like a superpower. The thing is, most people hate small talk. Most people feel awkward with people they just meet. And you can learn tips and tricks to actually use that for your side. I mean, one thing that I love to do is just to ask people questions. You know, like, people love to talk to people who are interested in their lives. And when you're just meeting someone new, like, you can ask more questions and really try to get to know them. I have this one client who, she had never really gotten very close or talked very deeply with her father-in-law. And one day she wasn't drinking and she really wanted to know more about his life. And she started talking and asking him about his experience with the war, with like the Vietnam War. And he shared with her all of these things that like she had never known about. It like really deepened their connection. They really bonded in that moment. In fact, a lot of studies prove that we are able to connect better with people when we're not drinking. We actually find people who are drinking unattractive, right? We do. That studies prove that we find people who drink are unattractive. And when we aren't drinking, we are better able to be present with someone and actually talk about stuff that matters. I mean, have you ever noticed that drunk people just repeat themselves over and over and over and over again? How is that really connecting? It's not, right? And so one of the first things that you can do to learn how to socialize sober is just to practice it and just to start feeling a little bit more confident in your skin by putting yourself out there. Now, the second reason a lot of people feel uncomfortable socializing without alcohol is that they think other people are going to judge them. And that's where secret number 3 comes in, is that if you think that other people are going to judge you, you basically are worried about the opinion other people will have of you. You are worried of people making up stories about you in their mind that aren't true. Now, here's the thing. Maybe in the old paradigm, maybe in the olden days when you took a break from alcohol, it meant something that you had a problem from alcohol, that you were someone not to be trusted, that you couldn't handle yourself around the drink. But that is not what it means today. In fact, it should have never meant that ever before because alcohol is such a toxic substance. It is one of the healthiest things you could possibly do for your body and brain to take a break from alcohol or go alcohol free. We should not be judging people for doing it. In fact, if anything, we should judge the people who were telling us to drink at a party, right? It should be the other way around. We should be the ones with pride that we are actually deciding to do something right for us, to put our well-being first. A party. And that's my third secret for you, is when you go socializing, I want you to act like a vegetarian. Now think about it. A vegetarian these days, they go to a barbecue. Some people are eating chicken wings, some people are eating salad. Do you think like they feel judged because they get a salad and not the chicken wings? Do you think they let people make fun of them? Do you think they let people pity them? Do you think they let people like be like, "Oh, did you have a problem with me? I'm so sorry." No way. Vegetarians are so proud of their choice. They know that they're living their life according to their values. They value either, ethical living, sustainability, environmentalism, health, whatever it is, and they are living their life according to their values. They are proud to be choosing to not eat meat at that barbecue, right? And they wear it with pride. And so can you imagine if you did the same thing around not drinking? Can you imagine if you wore the same pride about going alcohol free? If you were actually proud of your choice and saying, you know what, I'm doing this really cool health challenge. I'm not drinking for the month of October, and really like let people ask you about it and be interested about it instead of feeling ashamed about it. I mean, alcohol is such a crazy thing. Like, it's the only drug we have to defend when we're not partaking in it. You know, I am 34 years old. So let's see, that's 20 years since I was in high school, like 18 years maybe. I'm not in high school anymore. I'm not going to let people give me shit for what I have in my cup or not, right? Can you imagine if someone gave you flack for not smoking a cigarette these days? If they're like, you're not cool, is there something wrong with you because you're not smoking cigarettes? No way. We would never let someone do that. And we honestly don't let someone do that around our food anymore either. You could be gluten-free, you could be dairy-free, you could be caffeine-free, you can be vegan, you can be paleo, and we really accept those choices in our society these days. So why are you going to let someone judge you based on the contents of your glass? Isn't it kind of asinine when you think about it? And the thing is when you start acting like a vegetarian when you're out socializing, not only are you changing the paradigm for yourself, for this new alcohol-free movement, you're changing it for the people around you. Let me tell you how many people in my personal life I've inspired to take a break from alcohol. Instead of letting people feel like they were judging me or that I had a problem or that this was something embarrassing, I actually inspired other people. And that's most likely what's going to happen when you go and socialize without alcohol and you wear it confidently and you act like a vegetarian. You see how these different mindset tricks could really help you start thinking about this whole month differently, can really help you think about going alcohol-free in a new way. And so these are some of the things I want you to remember as you're taking a break from alcohol. And there's some other really cool tactics that you can use during the month that you have the best month ever. First of all, like I said, find a drink you love. Literally, go to the Whole Foods right now, go to any store you have, get a ton of their health tonics, try some kombuchas, get an alcohol-free beer, try coconut water, whatever floats your boat, try and buy like 5 to 10 new drinks and experiment with them. Like, you're going to be excited to try them every night, right? It's like, ooh, I have a new drink to try, something special. Let me tell you something. Some people question and wonder, is it okay to try these alcohol-free drinks? Shouldn't I completely break the habit? So imagine that I'm at a party, right? It's this nice cocktail party and there's waiters around passing out food, and the waiters are going around passing out these canapes, and they're these gorgeous little bites of food, right? And they come to me and they run out. I don't get to try the beautiful canapé. Do I feel left out? Yes. Do I feel deprived? Yes. Do I feel like I'm missing out? Yes. Am I addicted to canapés? Absolutely not, right? We have this twisted way of thinking that just because we use a drink to socialize or decompress, that it means that we're addicted to having a glass in our cup. Yeah, it's a fabric of our society. Having a nice treat at the end of the day or a nice something special is something that we have come to venerate in our society. And using an alcohol-free drink is a perfect way to change your habit, right? So go out there, go find as many alcohol-free drinks as you want and can try, and then have fun trying them this month. I shared with you the ultimate guide to alcohol-free drinks, and you will have at least 20 ideas of new drinks you could try there. Or you could just go to your new local store, Whole Foods, health store, any store, and see what drinks they have and just have fun experimenting. The next tactic I want you to try is to get a tracker. I want you to get a calendar or print out a calendar or grab a journal or even get an app where you can start tracking the days that you don't drink. And now here is the caveat to that. You know how you wake up in the morning and you have the best of intentions in the morning, but it's usually later in the evening when you start getting tempted? This is what I do to this day to keep me working for my habits. So I don't give myself a check mark at the end of the day. At the end of the day, when I succeeded a whole day, I do it in the morning. Every morning I give myself a check mark, right? Which means, check mark, I did not drink today. Check mark, I'm not eating meat today. I actually still do it. I try to eat vegetarian most of the time, and when I'm really committed, I will literally check mark in the morning that I don't eat meat that day. So guess what happens? When I'm out later with my friends and someone, offers me pepperoni pizza, I love pizza, it doesn't even register as an option. I already checked off that day that I didn't eat meat. You can do the same thing with taking a break from alcohol. Every morning, wake up and give yourself a check mark that you don't drink that day. In fact, I recommend that you do this in a few different places. Do it in 3 separate physical locations and maybe an app. And guess what happens? By the time the evening rolls around and you're tempted to drink, you're not going to want to go back and erase the progress. You're not going to want to go scratch it off. You're going to want to abide by the intention and the check mark you already gave yourself today. And now, I said earlier that when we drink, it releases the artificial level of dopamine in our brain. Checking off things off of a list also does that. So you can actually hijack this pattern in your brain for your benefit instead of for your detriment, right? So checking off things off of a list actually elicits dopamine in our brain. And when you track your days, you start to give yourself a gold star every day. I mean, that feels amazing. You know what's so cool? Now that I'm alcohol this is so as you're going through your break from alcohol, I also highly recommend you get a journal. And you can get a journal and start actually expressing your feelings and emotions in it. Because the number one thing we use alcohol for is to numb. It's to numb our feelings and emotions. We have a slightly off day, we're kind of stressed, we're not feeling our best, or maybe we want to feel like better, we think that alcohol will make us feel better. And sometimes what we don't even realize is the emotions we're actually trying to suppress. And so journaling is such an excellent tool. And towards a little later in the program, I'm going to share with you a really cool guide you can use to journal through your 31-day experience. But be sure that you are really becoming like more in tune with yourself, actually journaling through the emotions that you have as you go through your alcohol-free journey. Okay, so we went through the 3 secrets of how you can use a break from alcohol to literally feel euphoric, to feel amazing, and not feel deprived or left out or like you're a social outcast, right? It's this new paradigm for alcohol-free living. And I want to make sure that you literally have the best experience possible. So I've kind of mentioned that I am an author, and I am just so excited because I am officially announcing the launch of my book, Euphoric, Ditch Alcohol and Gain a Happier, More Confident You. This book not only teaches you all of the things I taught you today about how amazing your life will be without alcohol. It goes over every single health benefit I talked about today. It goes over every single mindset trick I talked about today. It talks about how your self-love will grow, how your passions will grow. It really positions the alcohol-free lifestyle as something that you're going to want so badly, so ripe with possibility. And then, afterwards, in the third part of the book, I actually give you an 8-week process to take a 2-month break from alcohol. So you have an 8-week framework to take the best month off alcohol. And I'm so excited. This is the official launch of the book, and you can get your copy right now at euphoricbook.com. Euphoricbook.com, you can pre-order it right now. So when you pre-order it, you're going to get some incredible bonuses. The book doesn't come out until January 4th, but I want to make sure that you're set up for the rest of the year with some incredible tools and guides to help you. Because let's face it, depression always goes up during the holidays. We overeat, we overdrink, like it's just, we don't feel our best during the holidays. Even though it feels so merry and the rituals are so nice, we actually lose all of our sense of health, right? We just throw all that out the window. And I don't want you to have to wait till January to, really have your best month yet and have these incredible next 90 days. And so when you order the book today at euphoricbook.com, you are going to get some really, really cool bonuses when you join. So first of all is my 31-day guide to have the best month ever. So I talked about how important it is to journal and actually learn more about alcohol and your relationship with it and then express that through writing. It's going to change your subconscious. And so when you order the book between now and October 7th, you are going to get this 51-page guide of how to have your best month off ever. So let me just show you a few of these pages. But every single day, you'll have like a little lesson. It's this beautiful book that we created. And then you'll have reflection. So it's all online, and you can actually use, you can fill it out in the journal. Every day you'll have like a new lesson on alcohol, and then you're going to have some reflections. And it's just this beautiful guide that we created so that you can have your best month off ever. I honestly, this is stuff that I usually charge my clients thousands of dollars for, but we were able to create it as a free bonus when you get the book. So this is a limited time bonus. It's only available from now until October 7th. So when you get the book today at euphoricbook.com, you're going to get that bonus. And that's going to set you up to have a guide for the rest of Sober October, right? You're going to be set with a tool, with papers, with a new framework, with journaling, with something to do every single day for the rest of October. In addition to that, we have some really cool other bonuses. So one of my favorites is drinks. So today you already got the ultimate guide to alcohol-free drinks, but I also love to whip up mocktails in my kitchen. So when I went alcohol-free, I actually became an amateur mixologist. So now I make mocktails. I love to make them out of tea. I like to make them out of different juices, out of different sparkling water combinations. And when you get the book today at euphoricbook.com, you'll also get my recipe book called The Foodies Guide to Mocktails. I usually charge $20 for this book, so you'll get it as a free ebook when you join and get the book today. So there'll be, I think there's 20 recipes in that book, and they're all really yummy, really easy to make, and you can have fun starting an experiment in your kitchen, when you take a break from alcohol. The next thing that I'm offering as a bonus is that, Have you ever thought, okay, if I don't drink tonight, what am I going to do? I'm going to be bored, right? Like, we think that we'll be bored without alcohol. But oftentimes, we're just not in the habit of learning what brings us more fun and more joy. And so it's this really cool phase. Every time I work with a client or someone as a student in my course, we have a week called creation and be creating your own fun. And I challenge all of my clients to go do new things. I challenge them to go take new classes, new dance classes. I challenge them to go have days off to themselves. Go to the museum, go to the botanical gardens, go to the beach, go to the ocean. Go do new things, right? And so instead of making you rack your brain over what I'm going to do when I don't drink, we actually created this checklist for you of 50 things to do when you're not drinking, right? 50 different things to do, from things that you could do in your house in the evening when it's kind of late and you have low energy, to new things to do out and about, and exploring your town in a new way, or whatever it is. So 50 different things that you can do without drinking, and it's really fun. You actually have the ability to check them off in the actual guide itself, so you can start just trying new things. And a lot of them also really help with cravings, or really help replace the ritual that you have around drinking. So if you're wondering, well, what do I do to relax at the end of a long day? You're going to get some really good ideas there that scientifically relax you so much better than alcohol. Because alcohol, remember, doesn't really relax you. It actually pumps stress hormones into your body and your brain, right? So you'll get that, you'll get the 50 things to do without drinking checklist. And another thing we do is, have you ever gotten a book, like a book that, a personal growth book, and there's all these journal questions in it, and then you're kind of like, well, what do I do? Do I journal in the book, or do I get another journal or something? I always have this problem when I read a book, so I really wanted to create a companion journal to go with the book. So not only will you get the book, you'll also get another PDF companion journal that literally has all of the questions already included in the book for you, and then all these beautiful spaces for you to reflect and answer the questions in your own time, in your own writing, right? So you don't have to scribble in the book, you don't have to go find a new journal, you'll actually get a companion workbook when you get the book, right? The next thing we're also offering is this masterclass called The Life-Changing Magic of Taking a Break. The Life-Changing So the life-changing magic of taking a masterclass, of taking a break masterclass, is also a bonus that you'll receive when you get the book, euphoricbook.com. Another bonus that you get is access to the private Facebook group. If you're already in, that's amazing. We have such an uplifting community here. I've been in other groups that are about alcohol-free living, and they can be so depressing. People are always complaining. People are talking about relapsing and AA and all these really heavy terms. And I love that we have such a high vibe group here. I love that this is about believing that our dreams are more important than a fermented beverage at the end of the day. I love that we choose to have faith over fear. I love that we come here to rediscover our passions and feel more alive by taking a break from alcohol. I love that this is such an empowering community that we have. And then the last bonus that you get is also how to rock a party alcohol-free. So some of those tips I mentioned today about how to be, really strengthen your social muscles and actual things to say when you're out to feel more confident will really help you have an amazing time when you're socializing. And I know some of these things can be so helpful for you because, it's Halloween in 31 days, and then it's Thanksgiving, and then it's Christmas. I know there's going to be so much socializing when it comes to alcohol and, Christmas events and holiday events coming up. I just want you to be set up with the best tools possible so that you can have the best next 90 days. Even if you're not ready right now to take a break from alcohol, what's really cool is Dry January is coming up really soon, right? And so these bonuses, they're over $500 in bonuses. These bonuses are really going to set you up for the next 90 days, to really feel amazing, and then to really get your mindset ready for Dry January, right? And so the way I like to see it is that you really have two choices when it comes to your relationship with alcohol. You could either do nothing and let the drink continue to control you and continue to let yourself down and continue to feel tired and continue to feel like not your best self every day, or you can take a chance on yourself. You can take a chance on yourself and try just experimenting with a break from alcohol. Because like I said, if you only got half of the benefits that I talked about, wouldn't it be worth it? And the thing is that you don't have to decide to quit drinking forever. In fact, most of the time, I recommend you don't think that way. Because when you decide to quit drinking forever, it's almost like you decide to get married without ever meeting the guy. It's like, okay, today I'm going to marry John Smith, but I never met him, you know. Obviously, you're going to get cold feet. Obviously, you're going to want to back down out of that arrangement. So don't get married right away, right? Take marriage off the table. Just let yourself go on a first date. Just let yourself go on a first date with a break from alcohol. And then your mind will evolve and evolve and evolve and evolve. And you might get to a point where you don't want to drink anymore. And you're like, screw that. I have so much better things to do with my time. I'm in love with how I feel. But that will come later. Right now, just decide to take a break from alcohol, right? And I want to ask you, like, is it worth it? Is it worth it just to see, you know, like, to have this break from alcohol, to see what this could do for you? So I'm just so excited in leading women down this journey, because not only has it radically changed my life, it's radically changed my clients' lives, my students' lives, and I'm giving away, like, everything I've learned, everything I know about changing your relationship with alcohol in this book. So euphoricbook.com, you know, you'll get $500 worth of bonuses when you buy the book today. And I'm so excited to announce that we actually, if you want to start reading the book before January 4th, we have that option. When you get the book today, you can actually join the book launch team. So when you join the book launch team, you'll get a PDF right away to be able to read the book, like today, literally. I just tested it this morning. We have the PDF all ready for you. So if you want to join the book launch team, all you got to do is buy the book and then fill out the form on the thank you page, and you will be entered into really my inner circle. So all you do is you get the book early, you read the book early, and then we ask that you just leave a review, right? And, you know, maybe tell your friends if you liked it or whatever it is. But how cool that you could get the book as early as today when you join the book launch team. And there'll also be like some really cool goodies that come with the book launch team. We'll be having some live Q&As. You'll get to see how a book is actually launched and written, you know? Did you know that 82% of Americans want to write a book? 82%, right? And most don't. Like 0.0001% of people actually write a book. So if you have this kind of like inkling that, you know what, that'd be so cool to write a book one day, I totally encourage you to join the book launch team, because you're going to get a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to launch a book, and you'll get some really good insider tips. You'll expand your network. We've got some really cool people joining the book launch team, and you'll be able to make new friends and meet new people and really like position yourself, hopefully, as the new expert you want to be on something that you want to help change the world with. So I hope you join our book launch team. And you know, I just want to share with you, it took me years to get to this point. It took me years and years and years to arrive at a place where I was so happy to not have to drink anymore. And I did a lot of journaling and a lot of introspection. And I just don't want you to have to take years to get to that journey. I don't want you to have to flounder around and feel like you don't belong in certain groups. But how do you find an empowering way to change your relationship with alcohol? It's here. This book was literally written for you. It is not for the Nicolas Cage from Leaving Las Vegas. It is not from someone on intervention. It is someone like you who just feels like the social routine, drinking, especially whatever picked up during the pandemic, it is talking to you about your habits and how you can change them and how you can literally step in to the best health, the best like productivity, and really the audacity to go after your dreams. And I know it seems crazy, like, wait, I take a break from alcohol and all of a sudden I go after my biggest dreams. It's not just me. It has literally been hundreds of my clients who have had the same exact story, who have literally decided, I'm no longer going to play small with a fermented beverage. I want to play big. I want to like start writing the book I've always wanted to write. I want to launch the nonprofit I've always wanted to launch. I want to really do the things I want to do on this planet. Because if you think about it this way, alcohol has like this many benefits and then this many side effects, right? So you have to weigh that against what do you want even more in life? What do you want most in life? Just to feel amazing? Just to have fulfillment in your life? Just to be able to know that you tried and you went for it? Just to know, I mean, what do you want more than alcohol? And oftentimes that can be a really good guiding question to ask you, like, well, if I could either have alcohol or I could travel the world anytime I wanted, right? Like, which one wins? For me, there's absolutely no question about which one wins, right? And so I'm so just excited. I'm so thankful for all of you who showed up today. I just want to share again, you can get your copy of the book, euphoricbook.com. And like I said, if you join the book launch team, you'll get a copy as early as today when you pre-order. But I would really just be so honored if you got the book. And then you're going to get $500 worth of bonuses when you join. And you know, it's just the cost of a book. Like, it's literally like my life's work It's just in like the cost of a book. It's not that expensive, you know? When you think about it, books are one of the coolest ways that we can literally download the thoughts and the frameworks of someone else who's already achieved success in the area that we want for such a low cost. I mean, books are such a steal, and I'm just so grateful that I get to proliferate this knowledge and all of the things I've learned, been studied, and did a lot of research on so that you can have all the tools that you need to literally have not only your best month yet, your best Thank you so much for staying till the end. Like I said, euphoricbook.com is where you can get the book. And now I want to share a special treat with you. So Curious Elixirs is one of my favorite drinks. This is number 2. It's this pineapple ginger sensation. It is so, so good. And Curious Elixirs is actually partnering with us today for this event. So when you use their coupon code SOIREE, that's SOIREE, SOIREE, you can actually get $10 off any $50 order. So they have incredible drinks. They have I think 5 unique, really good blends. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each one has a different palette, has a different flavor combination. They're really adult. They're very, very complex. Like, this is not a kid's soda you're drinking. This is not a kid's fruit juice you're drinking. You're gonna fall in love with Curious Elixirs. You're gonna feel super sophisticated. It's gonna meet all of the like boxes of what you want out of a drink. I love their drinks. They're an amazing company. So use the code SOIREE, SOIREE, to be able to get $10 off any order of 50 or more. And that's where their orders start, because they have like pretty big boxes already. So like you're gonna get a huge discount on like their starting product anyway. So I would highly recommend you try them. I love Curious Elixirs. They usually don't give out this high of discount codes anywhere else I've ever seen, actually. In fact, I'm always kind of looking and waiting to see what companies, like what special deals they have, and I've never seen them give away this much off of their base kind of order. So try the coupon code SOIREE to get your discount off Curious Elixirs. I love them. You're going to love them too. And think of how much fun you can have this month about trying all these different new drinks. So I'm so just heartened that you're here today, and I would love to now turn it around and answer some questions. Answer any questions I have about like anything I've shared today, anything that I talked about today. I'm going to scroll through the chat a little bit to see if there's any questions that are already kind of trickled in. But right now, if you have any questions about anything I shared today, whether it's the 3 secrets, whether it's, you know, how to like get back up after taking a break, or you started drinking again, you know, whatever it is, I'd love to answer your questions. If it's about writing a book, I'm happy to answer any of that too. I mean, anything you got for me, please feel free to ask away. And I see Bobby asks, good to see you. Is it a physical workbook or do I have to print it out? So the bonus guides, because like people live in, you know, the US, but they also live in the UK. We have people from Australia here. We do have to do everything online. So the workbook is online, but you can print it once you get it. It's like really beautiful. We actually hired designers to make it. It's a really beautiful workbook, and it's like really a really nice thing to use it as an accompaniment to your 31-day guide. So great question, Bobby. Thank you so much for asking. Okay, Patty says, what should we tell ourselves if we have a drink before the end of the 30 days? Super good question. Thank you so much for asking. So I like to think taking a break from alcohol is like running a marathon. One like exertion, right? It's every day for 31 days. You want to try to put your best foot forward. And so first I say wholeheartedly commit to the decision, you know? Like if I told myself I'm not going to drink for 31 days, and if I don't drink for 31 days, I get to go on this really cool yoga retreat, or I get to, you know, go on vacation. Like if I make the stakes high enough, I bet you most people could do it, right? Or think about it this way. Like if a woman learns that she's pregnant, most women cannot drink for the 9 months because the stakes are really high. So first, really think of yourself as committing wholeheartedly to this break. Wishy-washy is so hard. When you're wishy-washy, basically you have to make a decision every single day. Every single day you're deciding whether or not you're going to drink or not. But if you firmly commit to 31 days today and tell yourself, no matter what, I can drink in November, I can drink on November 1st, I'm just not drinking these 31 days, you take off a lot out of the pressure, because it's not like forever, it's not final, it's just these 31 days, right? You can do anything for 31 days. But what happens if you slip, if you have a wobble? I hate the word relapse. Honestly, I can't stand that word. And I think it's so depressing and it's so demoralizing. I just call it a slip. I just call it a wobble. Like how many times the greatest have failed in their businesses or in their careers and then they got back up again? And the only reason they're as successful as they are is because they kept getting up again after every single failure. When you were running a marathon and you fall down on mile 17, you could stay down and be like, oh, I fell. I guess that's it. I guess the marathon's over. I guess I'm throwing in the towel. Or you could get up again. Or you could decide the very next day, I'm getting back on this horse. I'm going to the end of 31 days. And basically at the end of 31 days, what you could say is, I did 31 days without alcohol minus 1 day, right? How much better does that sound than just giving up because you slipped? I did 30 days without alcohol minus 2 days. Like, that's like a 98% improvement over whatever you were doing before. Think about it, right? If a company had a 98% improvement over like their business sales or their business processes, like that would be like, Wall Street would go crazy. So imagine it like that. Like really, really first commit to it. But two, if you do slip, if you do have a wobble, just get back up again. I love this saying from, it's a proverb from Japan. It says, fall down 7 times, get up 8, right? Like fall down 7 times, get up 8. And anytime you have a wobble or a slip, just get back up again, just recommit, and just tell yourself, I'm going to go 31 days minus 1 day off alcohol, right? So the 1 day is the day you slipped, but you keep going. You don't lose sight of the race. Because think about it, if you're running a marathon and you slip on mile 17 and you don't hurt yourself, you just fall down a little bit, like, you can learn from it. You can learn from it. If you like have a drink during the process when you didn't want to, you can learn about things that trigger you. You can learn about emotions that you were not taking care of in healthy ways. You can learn about things that, like what happened. And often when you actually have alcohol after not drinking for a while, it sucks. Like it doesn't feel good at all. And then it just makes your body like have to detox from it and go through all the horrible side effects. So you're going to learn even faster, like, oh my gosh, I don't even like drinking. Like, that was pointless, And it helps solidify the learning. So if you fall down on mile 17, you could stay down. You could say, oh, I guess I'm giving up. I'll run the race next year. Or you could get back up again. Like, I don't care. Nobody cares what you did yesterday. We care about what you do today. So I love these questions. Thank you so much. Patty asks, is there a tracker in the book? There is, actually, when you buy the book, there's going to be some bonuses so you get bonuses right now for ordering the book, but then when you get the book, you'll also have a new special page where there'll be even more bonuses just for reading the book, and there we are going to include a tracker. So there will be a tracker included in the bonuses for readers. So that's once you have your copy, there's going to be a special page created where we will include a calendar tracker for you that's like pretty and branded, and you can print it out and put it somewhere special and use for it. But for now, I definitely recommend, like, there's a really cool app called Dry January that you could use. Any calendar will work. So yes, that's a great question. Thank you for asking. We got 2 Patties here. So cool. So let me know if there's any questions. I would love to answer any questions you might have today. Mary says she drinks kombucha and it's so much more refreshing and she feels no deprivation. Kombucha is such a great drink because the thing is, nobody wants to feel like they're a kid again. Nobody wants to be drinking apple juice again. We like, as adults, complex drinks with like really complex palates and different flavor compounds. And so that's the thing that sometimes when you go alcohol free, you're like, oh great, do I have to order a soda now? Do I have to get an apple juice? No, because the alcohol-free movement has exploded. There's so many beverages out there that are super complex, that have these bitter notes, these acidic notes, these really cool flavor compounds. Did you know, like, this world is exploding so much? There's actually chefs, like those 5-star chefs that have those like 10-course pairing menus. They're actually starting to pair them with non-alcoholic pairings. Like, they're creating their own non-alcoholic pairings in the kitchen. This movement is really, really spreading, you guys. Just this last month, there was a huge festival rave in Colorado, a huge festival rave, and there was not a drop of alcohol served. It was all alcohol-free drinks in this huge party environment, right? Like, it's crazy to me how culture generation before it. Most adults have bought a non-alcoholic drink over the last like year or so. Like, this is seriously, we are changing culture. It's kind of like what happened with cigarettes. Think about it. everybody smoked cigarettes in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. And then in the 60s and 70s, we started learning about the dangers of it. You know, like we used to smoke cigarettes on planes, right? It was so prevalent in our society. But once we started learning the dangers of it and laws kind of changed and like it's kind of been phased out. I mean, honestly, personally, I smoked when I was in college, but today, I live in California. I do not know one person in my personal life who smokes cigarettes. You know what I mean? And I think the same thing is going to happen with alcohol. I really think that we are changing a culture right here. That we are literally going to invent better drinks that don't have all those negative side effects that alcohol does, that are better for us, that still give us that placebo effect. You know, this really great company also, Euphoric, they actually include adaptogens and nootropics in their drinks, so you actually do feel like this cool placebo effect, but it's not alcohol. It's not actually messing with your brain in the same way. So of the bell curve, am I going to be in the middle, or am I going to be one of those last stragglers, you know? Like today when I see a cigarette smoker, I'm like, oh, that's weird, you know? Like you still smoke cigarettes. Like it's just not congruent with like our health conscious world anymore. We're getting more healthy, we're getting more conscious. We want more wellness, we want deeper senses of meaning, deeper relationships. We just want more, and alcohol just doesn't stand up to that anymore, right? You know, I have a client, it's so interesting. At first she felt a little embarrassed about whether or not to take a break from alcohol, and then she like really went deep into a break, and she started working out every day, she started meditating every day, she started smashing it at her job, and then the coolest thing happened is she started talking about it with her friends and family, and like 10 of her friends and closest family members took a break with them to actually take a break from alcohol. So it was so cool. Like instead of thinking of this as something embarrassing or something that like, oh, I hope no one asks me about it, like you don't actually know how cool it is. Most people, like I said in my secret number one, most people want to do this. Most people want what you are doing. They're just not brave enough to do it or as intuitive enough to do it. And we're gonna start to see, I think, a lot of changes in our society when it comes to alcohol. So super, super, super great questions. Yay, Patty says that like when we have a habit to relax, you actually change your neural pathways when you change the habit. So oftentimes we think that alcohol is like, oh, it's going to be so hard not to drink at the end of the day. But you can actually retrain your brain out of that habit pretty quickly. So even just like 2 weeks off alcohol, like if you were really doing it habitually and every day, you can start to train your neural pathways to do something different. And then if you keep, like, that's why I recommend an 8-week break. And in this book, let me mention, we have 8 weeks of a framework that's really going to help you have, you know, the best 2 months of your life. Like, and each week actually goes through a really important framework and topic for you to not only change your beliefs around alcohol, but also change your beliefs that anything is possible for you. Really heal yourself from any shame, step into your best health, navigate your social life, build more self-love in your life, become more mindful, and really discover what those spark and passion and dreams could be for you on the end of the day. But our habits can be so powerful, and that's the thing about alcohol is, you know, they say that only 1 or 10% of the most heavy drinkers are actually physically addicted to it. So only 10% of the most heavy drinkers are actually physically addicted to alcohol. Most of us aren't actually addicted in a physical way. It's this emotional dependence, right? It's this habit. And you think about it, how many times have you drank in your life? How many times have I drank in my life? Like thousands of times. It's not something I've done once or twice or a little here or a little here. We drink thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times in our lives, right? And that habit, it works on our brain. It carves out this neural pathway. And the thing is it can feel like a really strong habit, right? Like just like brushing your teeth. Almost everybody wakes up in the morning and goes brush their teeth. It's such a strong habit. But we can change it pretty quickly with a break from alcohol, especially when you do the mindset tips and tricks that I've been sharing with you today and that are included in this book. But really, our habit, the habit loop, what ends up happening to it is we can slowly start to atrophy the old habit loop and create new neural pathways. The brain is really neuroplastic. It's so cool to see that the old ways of thinking can literally be atrophied, and when you take a break from alcohol, you have these new neural pathways that are built in your brain. The science even proves that your neurons regenerate. And so what's so cool to think about it is what's hard today isn't going to be hard 2 months from now. What's hard today isn't going to be hard a year from now, right? Like it's going to continue to get easier and easier and easier until it becomes your new normal. And today, like you couldn't pay me money to have a drink. I never think about alcohol. Like, other than what I do for a living, I don't actually physically think about it. I don't have cravings. I don't miss it. Like, honestly, you couldn't pay me enough money to have a drink. I feel so lucky I don't have to drink. I'm so ecstatic that I do not have to drink alcohol. So imagine that you can literally completely change the habit. You can completely build these new neural pathways in your brain where you don't miss it anymore. But you have to give yourself the chance. You have to just try it. You have to just be willing to experiment and try it. So if there's no more questions today, I just want to thank you all so much for coming here. I know that your time is so valuable, and here it's Friday morning for me. Maybe it's Friday afternoon already for you. Maybe if you are in the UK or in Europe, it's already the evening for you. I am just so grateful for your time so much today, and I just want to share again, like, this book is my heart and soul. I've taken everything that I've learned over my journey, my clients' journeys, learning so much about changing your relationship with alcohol, and I put it into a book, into a guide that is not for Nicolas Cage from Leaving Las Vegas. It is for the average drinker, right? The average drinker who's stuck and feeling like this habit isn't serving them anymore. And it really gives you the tools to not only change your relationship with alcohol, but then find what new high, what new dream is going to replace it, right? Because if you think about it, if you could position either alcohol, a fermented beverage, or achieving your biggest care more about, right? Like, which one is really going to change your life? And playing small, or what if you could have your biggest dreams instead? And it's not just my story. Like, this book is going to help you if you have no idea like what your dreams are or what you want to do. This book is going to help you get there, right? So I would love for you to be one of the earliest readers. Euphoricbook.com. You're going to get $500. If you want to get the book like today, if you want to be one of the early readers, you just have to sign up for the book launch team, and you'll be getting a PDF copy of the book today. And then you'll be part of the book launch team, and it's going to be this really cool process, this inner circle I have, and it's going to like expand your network, give you some new buddies to hang out with, and all you have to do is read the book and review it, and then share it with your friends if you like it. So thank you so much for joining me today for the Sober Soiree. I hope what I taught you today and what you learned today was helpful. And I just want to know that when I said the brain is neuroplastic, like, we actually have the ability to change how we think about things based on the information that we learn. Like, this is a workshop, and it's like, how does it have anything to do actually like not putting alcohol to my lips? The things that you learn, the things that you internalize, the new paradigms that you really embrace are going to change your mindset. And honestly, 95% of changing your relationship with alcohol is changing your mindset, not the actual habit itself. So know that no matter where you are, no matter if you've tried this before, if you haven't tried it before, if you just feel lost, confused, if you just feel so stuck, just showing up today, like, give yourself a huge hug, because honestly, showing up today gave you a lot of different new information you can internalize to have your best month ever. And you slowly start to change how you think about alcohol, and it changes and changes and changes and changes until one day you're left with like no desire for it. Like, that's where I am, and that's where I teach all of my clients and students to get to. So thank you so much for being here again, Bobby, Sarah, Carmela, Patty. It's so great. Let me put the link in for the book one more time. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have an amazing Sober October. And like I said, when you get the book, and you get the book before October 7th, you'll also get my 31-day guide. It's a 50-page guide that will set you up to have a lesson and a journal prompt every single day, so you have some tangible tools literally every single day guiding you. We got these beautiful workbook created for you. This is some of like my best tips that usually my clients pay thousands of dollars to work with me for. So until October 7th, I would love for you, if you get a copy, you're going to get the cool bonus. And then Phyllis says, if you sign up and get the PDF, do you still get a physical copy? Yes, because to be in the book launch team, you still have to order the book, and then when you order the book, you'll get the PDF copy. So it's like a way to get the early reader edition. So thank you all so much for joining me today. I'm so excited you're here. And if you're catching the replay, I just want to say that I'm rooting for you. I'm so happy for you that you're here. I love that you still, devoted the time to come back and watch the replay. So for everyone who's going to catch it, I appreciate you so much. Thank you, everyone, so much for showing up today, for yourself, really, for a new paradigm, a new way of looking at the world, a new way of taking back your health, your happiness, your hunger, your passions and your desires. Like, we deserve that so much more than a fermented beverage at the end of the drink. Thank you so much.